You're listening to Live and On Board with Tony Milazzo.
All right, we are live and on board. This is Tony Milazzo, and we are with Tim Homayoon. Did I say it right?
Homayoon.
Homayoon.
Tim H. Whatever you need.
Tim H.
Yep.
All right, he's a comedian.
Yep.
And a writer.
Yep.
Did I leave anything out?
Do some acting too. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, I'm glad to have you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you having me on board.
Yeah, you enjoying that? Have you boated before? You okay with the boat?
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not on sea and getting seasick. That'd be a weird podcast. But that's a whole nother podcast. Me puking in the bathroom. But
we'll have to do that another time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants everything. They like that stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody could just do an interview. I think it's more fun when you're doing something different.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're a little bit outside the box. We're floating around on the box today.
Yeah. It's a nice day. Nice weather.
So let's have everybody get a little bit familiar with you.
Okay, sure.
Maybe we'll start with some of the things you've done. Probably the stuff you're most proud of first.
Let's see. I'm from Long Island, New York. I've been doing stand-up comedy. I started as a comedian about 20-something years ago, and done some acting, did improv with like Kevin James and Adam Ferrara, the guys from Long Island. There's that crew from the early 90s, so I got to see their success, and I used to book a lot of those guys, so it was good. I got to be on both sides. I was perform with them, I got to book them, I got to know them personally, and I got to learn from a lot of the comedians over the years. And, like I said, did a little acting, did the improv, sketch comedy, a little bit of everything.
All right. So you started out in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, started in Long Island, then I moved to...
where in Long Island?
Originally Bayport, way out there.
Suffolk County? Yeah.
Yep, Suffolk County, then Massapequa.
All right.
And then went right into Times Square in Hell's Kitchen.
New York
There's
City.
a little bit of a difference to go from Long Island to right next to where the ball drops for New Year's. Like I was literally a block and a half away from that, so that was a little scary at first, but it was a nice adjustment. Took a little while, but now I'm out in Los Angeles. And I mix it, New York, LA, do the road, do stand up on the road, so I'm seeing the country basically.
Yeah, good. Life of a comic.
Yep.
You're enjoying it. That's good.
Yeah. Have my good and bad days like everybody, and yeah.
You still writing besides for your comedy?
I wrote for Saturday Night Live a little bit, and I was still writing the comedy. I'm noticing now. I've noticed in my life I've had so many weird experiences, so rather than write material, it's more or less reminiscing. I had a lot of weird... I stripped at a nursing home years ago. I did all different things. Like 9/11, people asked me where I was in 9/11. I was filming a Wendy's commercial in New Jersey, and when the planes hit and the towers went down, everyone's upset, they're crying. We could see it go down. They actually made us go back to set because we were stuck at the Meadowlands Stadium, so we were stuck there. We couldn't go back into New York. So they said, okay, back to set. I go, how are you going to go back to set? There's people crying. Hey, like that's typical New York, New Jersey. They're like, get back to set. Okay.
Yeah, everybody back to work.
Yeah, so things like that. I was a Mathletes champion for 5 years. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I don't want to brag. That's the math competition where every year they have all the math nerds would compete. And I won 5 years in a row, but people thought I was the big, genius. Turns out no one else joined for my grade, so I automatically won. So that was...
you look like a mathematician.
Yeah,
whatever a mathematician looks like.
I'm that nerdy look with the glasses. I have 3 older brothers. I used to keep their tests. So this way, not only was I a Mathletes champion, I got perfect scores. So the problem was by cheating like that, I actually went above my brothers. So when I was in junior high school, I started taking college classes. So I went from like a 99 to a 12, and that's when I had to slow down and say, okay, this schoolwork is pretty difficult. So that's I started stand up at 16, and and it's been doing it ever since.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've done all the circuit clubs here in New York?
New York, getting to the clubs in L.A., a lot of old friends. You had interviewed Jimmy Della Valle. I met Jimmy about 15 years ago in Boston. Did that circuit. So I've been working with Jimmy, and a lot of comics I knew back in the day. They moved out to Los Angeles, so I come and see them out here. I got friends in Vegas, family, and so it's a twofer. You get your friends and family, and you also get to do your comedy and a little acting here and there.
How did you end up writing for Saturday Night?
I had worked with a guy, Barry Sobel. I had done stand-up, and he had just got the position of head writer for Jimmy Fallon when Jimmy was doing the Weekend Update. So I was helping. I got it through that way, and I was working with Jimmy and Barry that way. Trying to get maybe with Jimmy's talk show. That'd be nice. So, but I kind of, it's one of those things where I started working the road, and then you got to kind of stay in town if you're writing. So now it's like I realize, okay, maybe I should have stayed in town and did more writing. So it's why I'm one of the reasons why I'm out in L.A. is kind of to get the scene, get settle in.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing.
You have to be here.
Yeah, because I had guys that I started with, like there's a guy, Rock Rubin and Mike Rubin, who when I used to book, I was in the improv with Kevin James, his brother Gary, Adam Farrar, and Rock Rubin. I used to book them and work with them, and then when they came out for King of Queens, the guy Rock, who became Kevin's head writer for King of Queens and wrote some of his films, said, hey, give me your video, I'll pass it along to the producers and whatnot, and your headshot and resume. And he passed it on, but he said, you know what, you're in New York, we're filming out here, it's hard to, even if they like it, come on out. And I never came out, and by the time it was over, he said, well, if you had come out, at least the worst they could have got you is a walk-on or, a couple lines here or there. That's the worst. So he says, you got to be out here. You can't, you're stuck in New York, you're doing the New York scene. That's it. If you're in L.A., you have your opportunities in L.A., so you got to, that's why at least I know if I'm out in Los Angeles, I know I have family out in New York, so I can always go back and do the clubs I'm already established out there.
Right.
This way I have the either or.
Yeah, I go back and forth too.
Yep.
I'll do some shows back in New York while I'm there.
Yeah.
But originally when I came out, it was bi-coastal, I
Yep.
thought. And I tried a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there, the jet lag.
Yeah.
The whole thing that you have to be here, so I'm 80% of the time I'm here in LA.
Yeah, the weather's so much nicer too.
Yeah.
Everyone's complaining about the snow out there, and then you're out here on a boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just spent a month and a half back there in the winter. Everybody here thought I was crazy.
Oh yeah.
They're like, what are you, nuts? Why would you go back now?
Yeah.
Spring and fall are the time for New York.
Yeah, because I felt bad. My family was in the Hurricane Sandy, got affected. The lights are out for a week and a half, 2 weeks. There's no lights. It's freezing. They're flooding in the basement. The trees are causing damage, and I didn't have cell phone service. So I tried leaving messages, and finally my mom called to tell me this, that the flooding and this and that, and it's horrible. And she's like, how you doing? I said, well, I can't really talk because they don't want me to use my cell phone in the jacuzzi in the hotel, so I'll call you back. And they don't like to hear that about you.
No, they don't want to hear that. Yeah, I just got back from there myself with the Hurricane Sandy thing. We did a benefit, and then they gave me a trip around, take a look at things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
just horrible.
it's horrible, yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. My friends here were going, you're doing a Hurricane Sandy benefit, it's a little late, that thing's over.
No.
I'm like, over?
They don't
it's going to be another
realize.
year and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
They need more money, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's sad. All those, every time people will forget about it. The next months go by and they forget of whatever, even like Katrina, people who've gone down there say it's just not the same. It's still, years later, it's still being rebuilt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes time. And
So what's on the agenda for you, Tim? What's next? What do you want to do? What's upcoming?
I got some things coming. Filming a TV talk show next week, so I'm working on that, and some club dates and on the road, and the LA scene, still learning the LA clubs. It's been a while since I've been out here, so still getting to know the clubs. There's a lot of comedians, they just pop up, there's so many young comics.
Big names jumping in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just so many, I'm sure, like, you remember when you started, you kind of knew everybody if you worked the scene.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's just thousands, and
just crazy.
And you see them, you don't know where you saw them. Sometimes they met you on Facebook or MySpace, and they know everything about you. You don't know who they are, and it's a little scary.
It's like stalker.
Yeah.
Comic stalker.
Yeah, because I had people that, I put a couple videos on YouTube, and not only did people know me, they knew my jokes, and it's kind of awkward that they didn't tell me that they saw my video, so I thought I worked with them, and then I felt like an idiot, like, oh, what did we, I had to ask them, and they go, no, I saw your YouTube, blah, 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 and I go, oh, all right. Screw that. I thought I...
They know your joke word for word.
Yeah.
A little too weird for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We love fans, but I think that's the border of stalker.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Yeah. So do you see a big difference between the New York live crowd and the LA live crowd?
The crowds are a little... New York City, I would say, caters more to the tourists. So you're going to have a lot more. Obviously LA, you get a lot of tourists too at the main, the big clubs. But in New York, it's getting cutthroat. So there's a club, Hot Comedy Club, that has about 6 or 7 shows a night, and they have one every hour, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and their shows, not only are they catering to tourists, they're catering to kids. So it's a very, like the 6, 7, and 8 o'clock show, it's not uncommon to see families with strollers in a comedy club. So now they tell the comedians this is the kid-friendly show. So you got kids who are running around, and they don't speak English. So it's a double...
wow.
But that's kind of exciting about it, though. As long as you know that going in, sometimes if it catches you off guard, it's a little, you're on stage and you realize that you look down and there's a kid in a stroller sucking his thumb, and you're like, all right, this isn't my demographic.
Sometimes they think you're supposed to know. I just did a show at the John Lovitz, and I guess I didn't realize City Walk, it was the old B.B. King Club.
Yeah.
So it was family.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's not what I was prepared for, so I switched gears and ended up just
sometimes
improving.
Sometimes it throws you off. I've noticed at some of the clubs, you'll get...
I said nipples, and they got upset with me, and then I said, well, man nipples or female nipples, is there a difference? And so I kind of made my whole show talking to the guy who was giving me...
Yeah, and it's kind of, not only does it bother you, sometimes it bothers the audience. And like I said, like a lot of the clubs in New York City, this particular club, High East, I don't know if they still do it, but they would say it's not a comedy club, it's a comedy show. So these people that come in and they go, it's right in Times Square. So they go, why pay $50, $100 for a Broadway comedy show when you can go to ours for $7? So they think it's kind of a like an actors. There's a comedy with actors. They don't really know what stand-up is. So sometimes they don't get the essence of punchlines and set up in punchlines. They're thinking more physical comedy.
Yeah.
They don't understand what's going on. So that's one different. I mean, it's also different where it's more. LA is a lot more. Everyone's got a headshot resume. There's more actors doing it too, so a lot more TV credits, and I noticed a lot more storytelling. A lot of. That's something with me. Like I was saying, I enjoy doing now rather than write, because my mind is blank. So I can't really sit and write, but I used to go right from therapy, where trying to delve into something, and then I take it and I go to bring it to stage and try and delve into that. This way, it write itself, and then I just hone it on stage.
Oh wow!
So that was
that's different.
Yeah, it was great, but that sometimes when you don't have it honed, people go, "Oh, that's so sad." Like they wouldn't, they didn't, because you haven't honed it yet. It's still kind of deep. The roots are kind of raw.
It's almost like you're just venting up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I find is
sometimes I lay down on stage, especially if the audience isn't reacting. I'll lay down on stage with the mic and I'm on a couch and just.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. There's a guy. I love telling this. There's a guy, Tim Gage. It's Colin Quinn's cousin. I don't know why I mentioned it, but anyway, we were doing a show out in Long Island. This is about 15, 20 years ago, and the woman who put it together, Anne, was a sweet woman, but she had, didn't really understand. We're at a bar and there's no one there to see the comedy. So, and she was the one that she booked shows and passed the hat around, trying, money. So she would go on and try and get the people at the bar to turn around, and they would turn around and say "fuck you" and heckle us the whole time. So she went up and bombed. I went up and bombed. Now this guy Tim Gage went up and he's bombing. So he said, "To hell with it." He lies down on stage and he starts getting as graphic as he possibly can, because they're not paying attention. They're just turning around and going, "Shut the hell up." So he starts talking about how he was molested by his father and this and this, and he's getting graphic. I don't even want to, I know it's a podcast, but, just the sick, I'm getting silly. Oh, man, this is this and this fluid, and you know what I'm talking about. Just the most graphic, horrible thing. And the guys
Tim's
aren't
trying to be clean.
Yeah, trying to be clean. They're not even turning around. So he's just going as sick, possibly sick as he can. All of a sudden, you hear screaming in the back. The door's open. 30 people come running out. The owner of the bar goes, "I got a private party in the back. There's speakers in the back. What the fuck is wrong? Get them off!" 30 people walked out.
Oh my God.
He didn't realize there was speakers in the back. So here is all these people. We're getting kicked out of the club. Before we're getting kicked out, Ann decides, "All right, here's the hat. If you guys want to donate, we're struggling comics. Somebody give us $1." So she gets like $2. So she didn't know how to break it 3 ways.
Oh,
she's like, "I can give you 75 cents." Like one of those.
Crazy.
That's Long Island comedy for you.
I love New York. Anything could happen there.
Oh yeah, there was a club, Hecklers. It was a bar called Hecklers. I'm not making it up. That they would heckle you. I mean, every club. The first time I performed, there was a club called Konkoma Comedy Club in Ronkonkoma, and it was Konkoma with a K, comedy with a K, club with a K. You got the idea.
Yeah.
And my brother Eric, who writes a serial killers, don't ask, long story. He said you had the greatest response, because you got to remember, I was 16 and I was 115 pounds. I was toothpick, and I didn't really look at the audience. I was nervous. This is a white trash, Klansman type shithole, basically. So I would look down and I'd do my act, and I said something about women or whatever. And this guy, big biker dude, 6'5", tattoos, stands up in front of me and just yells out, "Fuck you!" And my brother goes, "You had the best response. You just looked him right in the eyes and went, okay." And then I just went out with my act. He goes, the guy didn't know what to say after that. He sat down like, "Okay, you accepted it." He just moved on. He goes, "Some comics would have had a line, something, you just stared at him and said okay, and then you just went right in it."
Good stuff.
You're good. But yeah, I had my share of. I got booed off 3 times in one day. I think that's a record. I don't want to brag, but that was the funny thing was the first one I did. So I lived in Bayport. The town next to us was Sayville and Patchogue. So I did the one in Patchogue is like 11 in the morning. It's one of those outdoor shows, and everyone's on the blankets. And it's all it's like a new talent kind of thing. Anybody who can go on. You know, people want to sing a song. They want to do a dance. Just dumb stuff. The community, basically the community.
Yeah.
But they bring me up as a comedian, and people just heckling me, you know, you suck, blah, blah, blah. People think it's funny because it's an outdoor thing, and there's these teenagers that are really bothering me, and I'm trying to be clean, I'm trying to do my joke. So it's an outdoor theater, so there's nothing behind you. So they're running behind the stage, and I'm facing forward, and I'm getting hit in the back with these balls, and I'm like, it's balls of duct tape. They're taking, you can hear it like, and then they punch it and peg me with these things real hard. And so not only am I bombing, I'm getting heckled, and I'm getting hit from the back, and I'm trying not to snap. It's building up. You get in that vial when you. So finally, this little kid about 5-6 years old gets off his blanket and starts running towards me. He goes, "Get off the stage!" And I just snap. I go, "Fucking blow me, you little shit." He goes, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the guy behind you." And I look behind me. There's a guy sweeping up the balls of the duct tape. And that was number 1. That's when I got booed off. That was 1. Yeah. Then I did.
It's not an easy business.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's... And my town, Bayport, was so small, it had to be combined with Blue Point. And so it was one of those small towns. And just imagine, this is like my 3rd time I got booed off in the other town. Then I went to the Apollo. So this is a white town. You gotta understand, I don't mean to sound racist. That sounds awkward when you start with that. But my first time, this is true, really interacting with a group of black people. Not like, you know, the black guy at the mall or... my school had one black guy. One black guy in school. He was adopted. You know, the one guy who could dance. And he would hit every stereotype. He was the great dancer, great that, ends up in a gang. Don't ask. Anyway, so my point is I never really... You know, you always hear the stereotype, you know, a lot of racism. And when you get an all-white crowd. So, but I'm this nerdy toothpick. And I get booed off twice. Now my 3rd time, I go to the Apollo. I went to the Apollo Theater as like a 16-year-old, and so now I never met a lot of black people. All of a sudden, I'm getting booed off in front of 1,500 black guys that are throwing stuff at me. They're booing me off. Not only are they booing me off, when I get off stage, they're still booing me. They're still booing me like you got to walk out and you got to go into the subway. Like the boos are echoing in your head. And that was my...
All the way home.
Yeah, that's my interaction with black people. That's, you know... but I don't want to sound racist.
Well,
that's
it's good you never quit because... You know, I have some bad shows.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
has bad shows.
Yeah.
We all have bad shows.
I think that's good that, see, a lot of comics don't realize, for me, what it was, and that's why I said, like, see, if you get booed off once, that happens. You get booed off twice in the same night, you suck. Let's be honest, twice in the same night, you suck. But if you get booed off 3 times in one day, you've got something. You got some talent. I don't know what it is. I still haven't found it. But that's a lot of determination.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So.
Persistence and tenacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Now I've done good other time. I don't want to sound like I get booed off every day. That was
of course
20 years ago.
But the band shows, you know I got to go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Or I got to work a little.
Yeah,
harder,
you know what? I always looked at it. See, when I used to do the Apollo, and I liked it because again I knew what I was in for. I got booed off in front of a tough crowd. So then I go back to Long Island, and you go to this white trash bar where these white guys want to heckle you, and you're like, you think I'm fucking scared of you? Some white fucking trash. I got booed off in front of 1,500 black guys. I'm worried about 2 drunk white guys. You know,
right,
get the fuck out of
Makes
here.
it easier.
So yeah, it helped me build that wall of like, fuck you, I don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes you'll get weird situations. I've had situations all the time. I was down in in Alabama where they have issues, from New York. They say you're from New York, and they, want to say stuff. They brought me up as from New York City, and they started booing. I mean, that's the typical shit I would get. So they would boo, and then one time I was doing well, and I had 2 cameras, and it's a big club, 500 seats, and I'm doing really well, and there's a woman off to the side that's yelling out, just not a heckling in a bad way, you suck, but she kept saying, yes we can, yes you can, but like kind of, and I'm like, what is this drunk lady yelling at Obama? Like, what the hell is wrong with this woman? I said, I'm doing really well. So she keeps going and going. And I'm ripping on her, and the crowd's loving it. So, but she keeps interrupting. And then I'm making a gesture to the club to shut her up. No, nobody says anything. So it starts escalating. I start getting meaner and meaner. And you as a comic, sometimes when nobody's helping you, you kind of, anger boils up. And I don't know what I called, but I really said, some words maybe I shouldn't have. And when I was done, the manager said, "I'm sorry, I didn't take her out sooner, but she's mentally retarded. I didn't want to make a scene." I said, "Oh, great, thanks for not making a scene. Let me call a mentally retarded woman the C word. I appreciate you let me do that up there."
Wow.
And then they're pulling her out, and he says, "Well, she's a regular." I said, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, she's a regular. She gets drunk and she, doesn't understand." And he says, "That's why we put her in the back on the side." I said, "I can't see her on the side. I just think it's some drunk woman heckling. I don't know, it's a mentally retarded woman." And they're pulling her out, and then she's like, "I want to buy you a CD." I said, "Bring her back then. If she's going to buy my CD, don't throw her out. Let her buy my CD first."
Put her back in.
Yeah.
That's funny. Plant her in every show. Is that what they do?
Oh, yeah.
That'll make you work hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, when I first got to the Comedy Store, they put me on an all-lesbian show.
Oh, wow.
And then the next night in the main room, they put Sarah Silverman up in front of me, and then Bobby Lee, and I just kept getting knocked back, and it just...
Oh, yeah.
They love to see you rise to the occasion.
Oh, yeah, they love you to get there early so they can bump you till late.
Yeah. So, you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
Like I said, I'm doing a TV taping next week. It's a late night show, and then just club dates. Going to be in Indiana for a week, and then Little Rock, Arkansas. Out here in LA for a while. Back to New York for a little while. So this is my, I guess, funny story is my name, Tim Homayoon. My website, I used to try and plug it. Nobody knows how to spell it. So it was a waste. I had to waste. So somebody actually stole it, wanted me to pay $500 to have it back. $500. I said, good luck. It didn't work for me to begin with. Good luck selling it to someone else, asshole. So I said, I'll give you $20. They said, well, go down to $400. I said, fuck you. Next year, I got it for $8 because they just got rid of it. Yeah. So, but now I go by Tim Who, or That Comedy Guy. Because nice. Nobody knows.
Well, give us the sites or how they can find you.
Yeah, my website's timwho, WHO.com, or That Comedy Guy, that THAT Comedy Guy, and I just got my Facebook URL. Somebody hacked me, so it was Emily.
The hacking's crazy.
Becker
right now.
66 or something like that. So now it's Tim Homayoon. You can just get it from my website, right. But the Twitter and all that good stuff, and right. YouTube and all my crazy stuff on there.
All right. Well, I'm glad you came out here and hung out with us on the boat today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Have you done any boating before?
A little bit. I used to. I loved to fish as a kid, but I was always wimpy with. Once I caught the fish, then I felt bad, and
yeah, I'm not.
I don't want to take the fish out of the hook, the hook out of the fish.
I can't even stand baiting the hook.
Yeah.
I used to have somebody else do that. I used to have some little girl bait the hook, and I would.
Yeah, you're like me. Now I'm married to a woman that's an animal activist. Forget it. I can't. She don't let me do nothing.
Are we allowed to mention her?
Yeah. Stacy Pressman is her name.
Yes. Very well-known comic.
Yeah. So and pain in the ass.
Yeah.
The well-known pain in the ass. No, she's a good person.
Yeah, good.
I have to say that by
Power
law.
couple, huh?
Yeah. So we tour together a lot, and she does her stand-up, and she's an actress. Was on the Howard Stern show a lot, and
Is that tough having your other half be also in entertainment and
good and bad. Good and bad. I mean, good that we get to work together on the road and have fun. Bad, she doesn't drive. It means I drive everywhere. She complains. I used to sleep in the car. You know, I drive. We drive down to Florida. I drive, take a nap, drive. She don't like to, you know, me taking a nap. I have to get a hotel. So if I want to crash for 3 hours, I have to get a hotel. She don't like Motel 6, so I gotta get the upgrade to the Super 8 at least. So there's always something. That's the one pain in the ass thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's good.
Yeah. Not an easy life. Either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
For
A lot of
either
problems. A lot of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just adds to the act. That's what I always say. Every time we fight, I said, hold on, I gotta get a pen.
Yeah, it's all material.
Oh yeah, all material.
You're gonna hear it all up there on stage.
And the funny thing is, when she goes on, she makes fun of me. I go on, I make fun of her.
Right.
So my level of how much I'm gonna rip on her is depending on her level that she set forth before me. So if she goes first and rips me hard, then the claws are out. If she takes it easy, then I feel guilty, and I still rip her hard anyway. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we don't tell the audience usually because they'll turn on me quick. Because women, funny female, she gets all the women on her side. Some of the guys think she's pretty. They act stupid. So when I go and make fun of her, the audience turns on me if they know we're together. So yeah, I usually keep that secret.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You end up getting beat up outside for making fun of your own wife.
Oh yeah, and then you get and then you get guys that are that hit on your wife because they think, oh, her husband's not here, right. And she talks about what a loser her husband is. Then maybe I could swoop in.
Right.
Or you'll get the weird thing is they'll see me with my wife back when we used to be kissy back in the day. And they'd be like, oh, look at these comedians cheating on their spouses. Look at them. They're working the road. They're fooling around. So we got a little of everything.
All right. I'm glad you came today.
No, thank you. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for the pizza as well.
All right. Hope to get you back in the future.
Yeah. Love to. Yeah, let me know when you're back in New York, too.
All right.
I'll get a podcast and... It'll just be an old tape recorder. Won't be as good as...
I'm in.
All right, sounds good.
I'm ready.
All right, cool.
All right, well, great. We had a great show.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, and good luck with everything you're doing.
Yeah, I hope to work with you soon.
All right. You've been listening to Tony Milazzo, live and on board.
This show has been produced by Tony Milazzo, Alyssa Inferna, and David Ringwald. If you'd like to be on board, check us out on Facebook at Tony Milazzo Entertainer, tweet us at Tony Milazzo Live, or snail mail us at P.O. Box 10074, Marina del Rey, California, 90295.